Blog Talk Radio.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all pods, all of them. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gently. I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Have you checked the children?
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
Look, just a flesh wound.
Good evening, Flesh Wound Radio freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Horror Society Presents Flesh Wound Radio. I am Daniel Shine, joined once again by Todd Loya. We are back after a week off. So, Todd, how have you been? How's your last couple weeks gone?
Been busy like always. Good. Watched some different stuff this week. You know, it's funny. We were off last week. I didn't have stuff I had to watch. I didn't take advantage of that and watch stuff I wanted to watch. I kind of regret that now.
We're doing porn tonight. That's probably what you would have been watching anyways. So,
I don't,
that's what you'll be watching after the show tonight.
I didn't count all that I watched. That doesn't count.
You finally got to Bijou. Some people may or may not get that one. If you're a vinegar fan.
You were watching the Andy Milligan set.
Exactly. Yes. So, it's been a interesting week. I know we said we were going to do a commentary last week, and I know a couple people asked, but it kind of got down to the wire, and I was packing for Florida, so we apologize. We'll probably have a commentary, though, at some point. There's
we should just plan when. Yeah, we should just plan when to do one. We haven't done one in quite a while. We normally save those for when we have
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, when one of us needs, that particular Thursday, we'll pre-record one, which what we were planning to do last week. But we should just plan one to give us a light week one week.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anybody has suggestions? Horror, adult, sci-fi? I mean, we'll do anything. Good. I actually. Well, no, actually, that'll segue into a review, so I don't want to get too much into that. But, I had a good couple of weeks. I went to Universal Studios Orlando, had a good time there. It's really funny. I don't know if you had a chance to look at my album. And, of course, I know they tape there, but just for some reason going there, it didn't click in my head. I went to the TNA, or Impact Wrestling, TV tapings.
I saw
not
that.
Not my first TNA show, but the first during the Pop TV era. So that was kind of interesting. I was actually, it's weird because I was just walking. I think we were just leaving. My brother and I were just leaving the Simpsons section, and I'm just I happened to look over, and there's this short little dude, and of course once I got a clear look at the guy, it's like, that's Rockstar Spud, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, So I kind of go over to him looking. I mean, you could tell he's kind of just looking for people to talk to. They were taking pictures. So, I got to talk to him, and kind of really sit there. I got to talk to the guy that kind of gives away the free tickets to people in the park. It was funny watching them try and pimp the tickets to some of these very obviously non-wrestling fans, and so I got the full TNA experience. The studio they tape in now is rather small, although I will say there were some passionate fans there. I mean, they tried to kind of angle everybody, make the crowd look bigger than it is. And but, yeah, no, the May 10th and May 17th TV shows will be – I might be on camera. I don't know. I was kind of all over that place, so we'll see. But Spud was a really cool guy. Sienna, and I'm a little bit behind. She's Allison Kay on the Indies, but I got to meet her. Well, spoiler alert, she's the last match with Velvet Sky. That was the one cool thing I got to see. The tapings were decent, pretty cool. Ethan Carter had a good last man standing match with Tyrus, and Lashley and Drew had a good match. But
did you get to see any? Was Shelly Martinez on that one? I know she did a TNA. I don't know how often. She was doing it.
I think she did like one of the knockdown one night only tapings. Yeah, I got to see Velvet Sky's farewell, so that was actually kind of cool. It's free if you're there. Hey, and it's also on Universal City Walk, so you don't have to have tickets to Universal Studios. I mean, for a free show. Yeah, I had a good time. There were some passionate fans there. A lot of UK people, actually. It almost feels like they fly them in now because Grado was there and, of course, Drew Galloway, and there's a pretty popular fan base there. So, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I don't have any TNA bitching. That was a nice little side trip.
I saw because that was Saturday, wasn't it? You went, or you posted the picture Saturday?
Yes, I didn't go. Like I said, the 10th and the 17th. You can look for me because it's really not a huge crowd. Although the place was mostly full. I mean, the interesting thing is they do hand out signs for people, and I'm kind of curious. They do. Look for Lashley Go Home. That's one that they're really generic signs that they handed out to people. I wanted to cross something out, and I don't know. I wanted to write "Someone takes a cock" or something and see if I could hold it up at the camera, but no, it didn't work. But if you look at the signs, I don't know if it'll come off on TV, but the signs are very generic. Just laughably, and I didn't see anybody really bringing in signs, so that was one observation. But this side track wrestling discussion, it was a good time.
Yes, that was actually. I was at the same time I was at UEW for this weekend's big show. Our signs might have been a little less generic. We're throwing baby dick rubbers at a particular wrestler. But
used?
Nah. But the one thing I did do, I know you saw, I finally got a chance to check out one of the versions of Toxic Avenger, the musical, this weekend.
Yeah, I did see that. How was it?
It was good, but it wasn't the version I wanted to see. Because there's two different versions, yes?
Yeah, I think I've heard that. Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of seeing either.
Well, I definitely say it's worth checking out. The other one follows, from what I've been told, the film closer. This one, not as much. It was still a great little production at a little playhouse. I mean, it's the first time it's rent anywhere but the East Coast, so, I had to check it out.
Any cornholing of a blind bitch?
See, this is not the version that follows. There was not.
That'd be a good song. I'm sure you could come up with a musical number for that.
Yeah, I was. It didn't have the rape, dismemberment, head. Well, there was, some body parts flying, but yeah, it wasn't the Toxic Avenger of my childhood.
Oh wow. was it more Toxic Crusaders then? It wasn't. We didn't get the R-rated Toxie.
No, it was more the love story between Claire and Tox, and they called her something else, and she was a librarian instead. And Toxie or Melvin knew. They called her something else. It wasn't Claire. What was her other name? She had two names. Claire and Sarah?
I suck with names. That sounds like that might be right.
Yeah, they called her Sarah, but I can't remember if that was the sequel name or not. Because I know Claire is the original. Or is Claire the cartoon? Did you get the sex scene between the two, or? No, sadly, no. So, again, yeah. But it was still
more
fun.
Musical fans or more horror fans? That's the interesting thing to me for some of those.
It seemed everyone else was like having a great time laughing. I was like, the humor's a little tame for what I was expecting from Toxic Avenger the musical. I think a lot of the people there are more fans of the little playhouse and come out.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. What the crowd was like.
Yeah, because there was like four of us went, and it I'm glad I went so I can say I've seen it now. You know what I mean? But now I want to see the other version.
Well, hopefully you'll get to. I saw that. I'm like, oh shit, I would have loved to have gone to that, but
I think you would.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get a chance here in Atlanta.
I think being a Trauma fan and a Toxic Avenger fan, you probably would have ended up disappointed slightly too.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what were tickets? These weren't, obviously, I assume, like Broadway.
Well,
okay.
Here's the thing about the tickets. They were list price $28. They were $14 plus $7.75 processing fee. But someone found them for free. We just had to pay the processing fee. So we paid $7.75 each. So.
Well, like I said, you can't complain. The TNA tickets were free, and that's not it's not too bad. Is it similar to the Evil Dead musical? Do you get splashed with anything?
No.
Any blood?
See, I love the Evil Dead musical. This one. Yeah, I think I was expecting more of that than what we got. And I liked the songs of the Evil Dead musical too. They weren't because that basically follows the plot line of the films, and then they would make songs going. And I think that's why that one works so much better than this one to me, which is why now I'm really want to see the other one.
Oh, I would definitely love to go to that. I do think, and this is my pitch for anybody listening, Vampiros Lesbos, the musical. That is what needs to happen. Or actually, I would even throw out, in more serious note, From Dusk Till Dawn. I think that actually could be a cool little musical. You got the bar, one location.
Yeah.
They could come up with something cool for that. So, I will have to pitch that before someone steals it.
It's too late. Even easier, you could just do fucking Poultrygeist.
Yes, that is true. I actually got to meet the cast for that. I think it was a Fangoria convention. It was before it actually come out. And somewhere I have a picture with everybody from that. But anyways, so yes, we both had epic weekends, epic weeks, and anything UEW you need to plug? Because I've been trying to catch up on everything today. Any UEW plug before we get into a couple news bits?
Well, nothing in particular. The next show is the 13th, Man Brigade. But as always, we're on right before Hellraiser Radio. Makes a great double feature. I will once again be joining Hellraiser Radio tonight as soon as we're done here at 8 o'clock on just hellraiser.com, and it'll give you the links, or like them on Facebook, and you got all that information. So I have no idea what's going to go on there. Apparently, they've already tried to name my firstborn, and I think tonight I'm getting my official nickname, so who knows what's going on.
There you go. Like I'm saying, Tall Man, there's good gimmick there. Untapped horror gimmick. But, well, anyways, news bits. Yeah, and I know you want to name your kid a horror character, and it's you're not going to get to, apparently, right?
Well, the name the wife has picked out unintentionally works perfectly. So.
So you're being sneaky and hoping she's not listening tonight, then.
Basically, well, I'm not going to tell her what it is till after it's on the birth certificate. I got way too excited when she said it. I was like, yes, that's it. First name she said, too. It was like meant to be.
You can make deals. It can be he can be named after a murderer, not a rapist. It depends on the level of the character's crimes.
Exactly. Well, I thought I told you. I'll tell you like this. This is the hint of all hints. It's not Hewitt. It's the other one, the good one, the real one.
There you go. I think most people would get that one. A lot of release date news. I mean, we won't kind of go over stuff that happened 2 weeks ago, but, first, because I just pre-ordered these last night, but people might have missed it because Screen Archives didn't make a separate announcement for it, which they usually do, but Scorpion releasing new limited edition Twilight Time exclusives are up on the Screen Archives site for Haunting of Morella and Force 5, the latter of which is a lot cheaper than their normal discs. It's only $22, which is $22.95, I believe, which is, like I said, unusually cheap for them. It usually is $25 to $30. I ordered both. Todd, did you get them yet, or are you still waiting?
I have not. Yeah, I'm hopefully going to grab them this weekend. So.
If you do it before May 4th, now those two alone I don't think hit the $50, but there is a code that they have up. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's right on the website. You can save, I think, $4 or $5 on shipping for your order. So
cool.
So you probably have to get at least one other disc, though. So it's an excuse to binge. So there
exactly.
You go. Other release, one I'm really looking forward to from Code Red, and apparently it's coming soon because I don't think there's any chance at any extras on this one, but Black Candles is coming to Blu-ray from Code Red, and like I said, no extras, but that's a really great sleazy Euro horror title that I'm very excited about from what's the director's name? Jose Larraz, I believe. And yeah, it's apparently coming soon, and yes, it's a really kinky Euro horror style flick that I'm happy to see in a proper version. And on that note, if you missed it, go ahead, Todd.
I was going to say, that was previously released as one of the Sploitation Cinema double features, correct?
Yes, I believe it was, and I don't think it was like the greatest quality in the world, so I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's orgies, there's like goats and shit, so I'm an easy mark for that stuff. It's what I do on the weekends. So.
Orgies with goats.
It's comfort. Yes, indeed. And Vampire's Night Orgy. Speaking of orgy, that one, the orgy part of that one leads you to think it's a film that it's really not. But Vampire's Night Orgy is backup. That's the one that Bill pulled because of that almost unseen glitch. Only a few people apparently noticed it. I didn't notice it. I don't think even you noticed it. Did you, Todd?
No, I did not.
Well, that one's back up there. So there was, that what kind of was like out of print and raising in price, but you can now buy it on the Code Red site, which has been just kind of coming and going a lot lately. It's like multiple times a day that store is up, then it's down. So I don't know. I check it all the time because they've announced so much shit at this point that I'm just kind of waiting for. But yes, that one. He seemed to hint that Black Candle is going to be pretty soon. So keep your eyes out for that.
And
I think, what else did I miss?
It's open right now. Did you tell me when Weekend Murders went up, or did that just go up?
Yeah, Weekend Murders went up with Police Connection.
Okay, that's right.
And I know a lot of. Yeah. I didn't get Weekend Murders yet. I do have Police Connection, though, because that one, the Blu-ray, I should say, at the end of June, his rights are up, and he claims it will not be sold. So that's one if you want it. That's a pretty wild movie. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but that's a pretty wild movie for grindhouse lovers. It's a good one if you haven't seen it. Yes. Mad Bomber, I think, was the alternate title. So, and this one's uncut too, so a lot of people probably haven't seen it uncut. And grab it because at the end of June, that's going to be a collector's item for sure, and really jack up in price. I was tempted to buy 2 of them. I probably shouldn't say that
here's
over.
Here's the thing I don't get. Even though his rights expire then, that should just mean he can't print anymore. He can still sell them.
That's what I was thinking, too. I mean, I was like, well, if you make 1,000 and you still have, 300 left, I mean, that to me that seems like bullshit. But not that I'm not saying not saying he's, saying bullshit, but it just seems like, well, yeah, you could sell what you have left. But I don't know if that's the case of.
You're just trying not to get banned.
I don't want to get banned, so I am on his side. It would seem to be.
Yes, I agree.
You should be able to sell out your remaining stock, but I don't know. That's interesting. It's an interesting. I'm not in distribution, so I don't know how it all works.
Well, because if he sold them to a third party like Diabolic, there's no one that could say, you can't sell these now. Their rights expired. It's like saying I can't sell the. It's like saying you can't sell the out of print, boarding house from Code Red because Masker Video has it now or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting, and I don't know if it's just a case of. I mean, maybe there's something in the contract that dictates he can't sell them through his store. I mean, anybody can put something in a contract, but. Nonetheless, that one is going to be a collector's item, and if you haven't looked into it, like I said, it's a very good movie. So other bits of news, wow, I know I've missed some shit since I've been gone. I know we mentioned that really. Huh?
They're making an Omen prequel.
Yeah, I may have saw that and just not given.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite frankly. So, anything. I mean, that's not to say you can't be surprised once in a while, but I'll see it. Maybe it'll be good. It'll probably be average, but we'll see. You never know. Sometimes you get surprised.
They did tell you it's going to be a prequel to the 2006 Omen.
Who was in that one? Liam Schreiber, I think, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I was going to say, and some other kind of, sort of has been now. Was it Julia Stiles?
Oh, shit. Or was she in Amityville?
No, I thought Julia Stiles might have been the Amen one.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. That it didn't make much of an impression because I can't remember. Some washed-up blonde chick, I think, was in there. Also killed Dexter, so she kind of killed a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying she was in a movie with Heath Ledger too, so I'm blaming her for that one too. mean joke of the day. No, I'm just mad about Dexter. Although logically, I know that was the writers, but anyways, I think that's about it for news.
I blame her for everything. Trump is her fault too. Everything's her fault.
Trump is her fault. Exactly.
Yeah.
That wall that's going to go up is her fault. We just need to burn that fucking bitch at the stake, before she can make 10 things I hate about you too. Well, she can't hate him. He's about it now. He's dead. But anyways, on to the show. You have any preferences tonight for our first review? It's kind of all over the map. We got a documentary, blaxploitation, porn, early '90s SOV horror. I mean, nothing. No two are alike tonight.
I know. I had such a hard time naming this show. Let's start it with horror. I mean, give the people what the majority came for first.
Yes. There's another mean joke I'm not going to say. I already hit my quota already. Sure, all right. Well, let's do She-Wolf Rising. Pardon me while I clear my throat. Just getting some allergies here. But, yes, She-Wolf Rising, our indie title for tonight. I'm stalling so I can read the synopsis, and here we go. From the back... When I talk too much, that's what I'm doing. I just couldn't find the cover.
I know.
From the...
I figured, but I couldn't do anything to cover. I was trying, but you were going.
Hey, listeners know they've seen it before. I laid it somewhere, and I'm like, fuck, where is it? Before I have to pull it up online. But no, I got the cover right here, so I'm good. So this supernatural thriller explores the dark side of underground filmmaking. Gina Schuyler, the reigning queen of horror, lures Jake Bubar, her number one fan, into the decadent world of illusions and myths to help her find Robert Lanzo's, her producer's, stolen film footage. Jake sees her vulnerability and beauty and cannot resist her. His beliefs are challenged when he discovers Gina's true nature, but he cannot control his forbidden desire for her. Together, they forge ahead and deal with the demons and beasts that try to stop them. So, She-Wolf Rising.
Before you jump in, I'm just going to ask you this question so we can get it out of the way. Okay, so you kind of give the plot. So if you were the guy in this story, and this was real, and you found out Tiffany Shepard turned into a werewolf accidentally, would that stop you, or would you still keep going too?
I've had a good run, and if it's the end, it's the end. I think I keep going. Good life, 30 good years.
All right. Now that we've got our pervertedness out of the way,
if the body's the same, to be perfectly honest, I can paper bag the wolf head. But
it's not like she turns into Trump or something.
That would be pretty fucked up. Now, see, God, shit, Todd, that's gonna be like a fucking nightmare. Just you're giving that hot bot all the good moves, and then he's telling you're fired. It's just killing your. That'll kill a hard on. I don't know. From the back, I try not to look at the hair. Tiffany's still looking good. But anyways, well, this one's kind of a complex review, which is a good thing.
I know.
Todd, what the fuck would you call this? What was it trying to be exactly? Because I know we'll probably go back and forth on this. What would you call this movie?
Everything but the kitchen sink. I don't even know what genre. I mean, of course, it's got the horror genre because of it's set in a horror world. You got a werewolf. You got a horror starlet. You got some murders. I mean, the humor attempts were it's trying, and you mentioned the love story aspects off air. I don't know where exactly. I mean, and then they even kind of try to throw that mindfucked aspect in also.
Yeah,
I was going to say not very successfully on the mindfuck stuff, but whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely not a straightforward storyline. I mean, this is... It has elements of... God, I mean, you can just count them down. I mean, almost like the buddy sex comedy, not a whole lot of sex, you know, because he's got the typical sex comedy friend that wants all the juicy details. It's a werewolf movie, sort of. It's you know, a romance for sure. God, what the fuck else was this thing? I mean, there's even a cheesy falling in love montage with the two at one point, but it never settles on a tone. So it's hard. It can't really succeed totally as anything because this thing is just all over the place. You know.
And then this is a little spoilery, but I'm not gonna give up too much. And then you have the fact that it's a film. Oh, okay. It's within a film, but it's... Wait, how do I even fucking word this?
It's a film within a film within a film within a film? I don't know.
It doesn't even go that route, because it's... The way the story's told, it's two guys... It's like you said, the buddy comedy, him telling his buddy in flashbacks what happened, but that's all leading up to the within a film. So it's like... the way it's like, I don't know, I think I'm going to enter that Inception area trying to explain it, but because, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to explain it. We just want to see
Tiffany's titties and some practical effects. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's one of those ones, I give them pointers for doing something a little different, and I always do. I mean, you know, it's very rare for indie movies to break away from the mold. It just, like I said, it just doesn't quite work. There are moments, I mean, I think Tiffany had pretty decent chemistry with the actor that played Jake, Timothy Mandala, I believe it was. But, you know, it's hard to really get into the romance when... You know, you've got this goofy humor coming. The humor really didn't hit. I can't say this movie really made me laugh, so I think it fails on the comedy. It's always nice to see Tiffany Shepard, particularly when it's in a lead role and she's carrying the film. So that was kind of nice, but it's not funny. It's not scary. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It tries to be everything, and it doesn't really succeed totally at anything. I think the biggest unintentional laugh for me was, it sounded like fucking Destiny's Child or something that was like singing during that little montage of them going around. But there wasn't much of a tragic romance to be had. Like I said, you really have to have... You know, you can blend humor in a little bit, but this one, there's just so much going on that it was hard to get into it. But, you know, hey, I watched it till the end. There's a ton of recognizable New York, New Jersey-based talent in this one. From, Debbie Rochon's in this. Huh?
I said, yet they didn't figure a way to manage squeezing in Lloyd Kaufman.
Which is strange because he's one, all you do is pay his train ticket. I mean, they're really, you know, to be perfectly honest, that's all. I mean, that's all, you know, you go to him. So, yeah, I was surprised. Him and Rain Brown, because Joe Zazo is in there and he tends to be in a lot of stuff with her. But, you know, you do have Ruby LaRocca, Nicole Fiora, Tina Krause pops up. There's a lot of Alan Rowe Kelly as the agent, so there's certainly a great cast. But what can I say? If you want to see something different, you might want to give it a shot, but I just can't see anybody really loving this. It tried to do too much, and it is what it is. There are some decent makeup effects, I guess we can say. A couple okay gore bits, nothing to write home about. But again, and I know you were probably about to say it too, there are those same fucking little squirts of CGI blood, and I'm looking at that, I'm thinking like, fuck, you can have somebody stand off. I mean, I'm not an effects guy, never was, but you can stand off and just spray the shit a little bit. I mean, I understand, you don't want to fuck up wardrobe and all that stuff, but it looks so bad in this lower budget movie.
I have to look if like Adobe Premiere added little blood squirts somewhere in their filters and file.
I would rather it be a bloodless kill, to be honest.
Yeah, I would too. I'm just curious because I see it so much now, and a lot of it looks like the same little squirts. There's got to be a fucking plug-in that they added on fucking Premiere Pro or something. Now, with all that said, I think I liked it a little bit better than you. For the first hour and 10, while it wasn't the greatest thing ever, I'll always, give a pass to anything with Tiffany in the lead role, and I was, interested to see where it was going, and then we get the twist that just lost me. They tried to pull me back in with the topless scene, but it was too late.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was actually bitching to you on Facebook, and then I'm like, oh, well, there's Tiffany's tits, so, it at least did that.
I would have had more fun. I could have just watched Bloody Murder 2 over again.
Or pretty much everything she did up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But, although this movie was shot I heard about this one on either Facebook or something. I mean, this one, I think, has been in the can for a while. Although there was a Troma one a while back where it looked like Tiffany was about as old as she was in Death Factory, so it's not that old, but no, she still looks good. So what say you, Todd?
Fuck. This is a hard one. I'm going to give it a 2.5, only because I was entertained up until the last 10 where it lost me. And we should throw out there, too. This is available for streaming free on Amazon Prime, if you remember.
That's the way to go, as of now, if you're listening now.
Yes. Dan, what did you give it?
Well, you give it an average 2.5. I could be generous and say 2. I was tempted to do it just because of the boobs, but I just didn't really like this movie. It was too complicated, and believe me, I like that they tried to do something different, but complicated didn't work in this case, and I got to give it a 1. I just can't. It's not hashtag horror bad or sledge bad as some recent really terrible shit pickle examples, but I was never really engaged in it, honestly. It probably held me a little bit more just knowing so many of the cast members from this or that. Some of them I've actually most of them I've met at one point or another, but nah. I can't tell anybody to waste their time on this one.
Well, there we go. That's one of our most different ones.
Yeah, it's usually not more than a point or a half point, but
yeah. Now
I was thinking about it, I'm like, no, I can't do it just because of the boobs, which are still nice, but hell, maybe it would have. No, actually, I'm maturing. It was probably going to get a 1 no matter what. I just couldn't go higher because I don't see anybody really loving this. And like you said, there's pretty much her Mr. Skin bio matches her IMDb profile up to a certain point. So there's a lot of places to go for that.
It's funny. I mean, she didn't she didn't ever do nudity till after Trauma, her first run.
Really? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess not nudity. She did some scantily clad, if memory serves me. I haven't gone back to watch like Trauma's Edge TV in a long time, so.
Yeah. And that's why I brought up Bloody Murder 2. That's the first one I can think of where she was. It's one of her first non-Trauma projects.
Well, she was underage, actually, when she first started
she
Trauma.
was.
Wasn't she like 16, 17?
This is true. This is very true, so it's probably a good thing, but she did start a Trauma.
Yeah.
But back then, I didn't know that.
That's true. Lloyd Kaufman didn't want to be tossing the salad in prison, so he waited.
Probably best.
So, anyways, with that, another lovely image in your head, I guess we'll move on to our next film. Well, I have a solo, so maybe I'll, let's see. Yeah, why not? We'll knock out a solo. I know the latter part of our show is going to be more non-horror. That's just the way it worked out tonight, a little exploitation for you guys, but it's Dolomite. We could be doing a show on the mating habits of pigeons, and you still have to talk about Dolomite. So, but I do have a solo, one that I'm sure you'll be picking up at some point.
Yes,
and that is Gore Horror, which is a 1994 or 93, depending what you want to go by, shot on video horror flick from director Hugh Gallagher. And before I read the synopsis, just to throw it out there for you guys, some different options with this film. It's on DVD if you want it on the cheap. I think it's like $8-10, might be even lower by now, because Sub Rosa, not exactly an expensive company that's going to break your wallet by any means. But it is also part of their limited edition Blu-rays, which you're going to pay for it. I was lucky enough to get a used copy for a little bit cheaper, but and it's limited to 100. I don't know if they're sold out yet or not, but they're I think they're still kind of on eBay for around the same price, and you can get it. Now, it's a BDR, so for those of you that don't like that. So this is a review for the Blu-ray. My OCD, I just knew the Blu-ray was there, so I couldn't just pay the $8. That's probably your problem too, Todd. You couldn't get a DVD, but you didn't want to pay the $35. So.
I'm still reeling from Massage Parlor Massacre.
Yes, that and anything. I think Richard Mogg, not a fan.
I know this.
I think
now.
he's done a couple. Yes, so if you go by us, even if you don't go by us, avoid the Massage Parlor. I keep saying that because I don't want people to confuse it with the Vinegar Syndrome title. It's Massage Parlor Massacre, right?
Yeah, wait.
Because Vinegar Syndrome's is Massage Parlor Murders, but just to clarify, but yes, avoid that one. That was a waste. But anyways, Gore Horror, the title that's going to make you see it no matter what I say. From the back cover, when a lab assistant steals an important formula and all its documentation from Dr. Whitman, he hires a bottom-of-the-barrel private eye, Chase Barr, to locate it. When Barr digs deeper into the case, he finds the lab assistant is actually a dead street whore, and the formula is a reanimation agent that, with the consumption of human blood, is keeping her alive. In trying to retrieve the formula, Chase is given a roller coaster ride through hell as the whore reanimates corpses to attack him and help her hold on to the formula. Todd is on eBay as we speak. This, when you talk shot on video horror of the 80s and into the early 90s in particular, being realistic, most of them are, pretty much all of them are bad movies. You either have a taste for them or you don't. And I'm happy to say, reviewing this one on that scale, assuming that you are inclined to like these films, I did enjoy this. Obviously, it's a shameless Reanimator ripoff. The director's previous film, I think Gorotica it was kind of a, necromantic ripoff, if I recall. But having said that, this one was a lot of fun. Again, I'm reviewing the Blu-ray. This is one I saw ages ago on VHS, and I didn't even own it. It was a friend, I think, that it had the VHS, and it was pretty hard to see what's going on. The film doesn't look great, anyways, but I can say, this is a decent copy that you can actually see what's going on. One thing that I really enjoyed about this one, it's sleazy as hell, and it's completely unashamed. I mean, it really delivers a lot of nudity. Some let's just say Audrey Street, which I think is a fake name according to the extras, but the Gore whore has, let's just say, unique boobs. I don't want to be disrespectful, but believe it or not, the director talked about them. They're I don't know, more mosquito bites than boobs, but nonetheless, she was actually really good in this. There was something authentic about her, and I hate that's probably incredibly insulting with a movie called Gore Horror, but she played a dead, murderous whore very well. So, that is meant as a compliment. And very gratuitous nudity in this one. Like I said, it's sleazy as hell. Cheap but effective gore. The classic castration bits. There's a couple of those. Fans of old school effects, I mean, hey, it works pretty well. Works a lot better than She-Wolf Rising, just saying. There's the Reanimator fans will particularly enjoy the green serum is injected via dildo. So it is a green spewing dildo. At one point, she shoves it up some dead bodies' asses to bring them back to life. This is just a ridiculous movie that I liked quite a bit, especially considering when it was made. Now, a lot of this is kind of just people trying a little bit too hard. But I don't know. I actually am happy I got the Blu-ray, because in the back of my head, knowing the massage, whatever it was, I don't even want to remember it. I was a little leery about getting this, but I remember this actually being one of the better SOV horror flicks. It holds up well. Tons of sleaze, tons of stupid humor. Yes, it looks like crap, but you expect that with these things, and it's not as bad as some. God, I would throw out one, Ozone, Attack of the Redneck Mutants. Not to be confused with J.R. Bookwalter's Ozone, but that's one, if you really want to talk bad and just poorly paced, that's a good example. This one, it went by with a breeze. I enjoyed it. There were some pretty clever bits, the zombie on the car chase. There's a guy that made the mistake of masturbating on the side of the road. We've all done it once or twice, and I thought that was a pretty cool kill. And what can I say? If you're a fan of shot on video horror, I would definitely seek this one out. And like I said, the DVD's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, no pun intended. There were a lot of really fun shots. I laughed. I enjoyed some of the effects, and it's super offensive without overdoing it and just trying too hard. So it's my kind of movie. And the director also, which I found interesting looking into this, he was also a producer on a lot of the Jess Franco Sub Rosa era films. He was a producer for Vampire Blues, Tender Flesh, Marie Cookie, Lust for Frankenstein with Michelle Bauer, and Dr. Wong's Virtual Hell. So he gets a thumbs up for that. I'm a big Jess Franco fan, and I never realized that before. So on the scale of SOV horror, this one was quite good. I give this one a 4 out of 5. It's up there with some like 5.55 that were actually pretty decent. And believe me, a lot of them really are not. A lot of them are really hard to sit through. I'm happy to say this is not one of them. So check it out. Todd, I think you will want to pick this one up. And I probably made it so you're going to have to pay that $30 now, and I apologize.
It's already sold out.
It's what?
It is definitely sold out.
Oh, you got the credit card.
No, it's sold out. So I gotta try to find it on eBay. Damn it.
It'll run you the same on eBay. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's one you'll enjoy having in your collection. I really wasn't expecting anything. I figured this was just more of I think what got me was the Reanimator aspect and the fact that I did see it a long time ago, but probably didn't pay too close attention just because of horrible quality. But check it out. So shall we go to break? And I'll just throw it right out there. I have to grab a drink and pee, so that's like a let's go to break sort of thing. I'll just throw it right out there. But do we have a song for the evening?
I forgot, but we're going to a couple weeks ago. We have a mystery song coming on. We will be back in 5 minutes.
No Dolomite.
I know. I was lagging today, so I have no idea what we're about to hear. So
You'll get it
we'll
next
be
week.
back. We'll be back in 5.
And we are back, correct, Todd?
And we are back.
Sweet. Todd was ordering Gore horror, and I was getting a drink. So there you go. I think you will like that one, Todd.
Yes, I'm sure.
Again, and I want to clarify again. The 4 out of 5 is, on the shot on video scale, kind of comparing those movies. So
yes.
A lot of people, first-time listeners, may think, well, you're saying that's as good as, this or that. That's not how we review them. They're all a little bit different. But I will say I'm not a sure thing on a lot of those movies. I know several people over the years that just love the 80s, 90s shot on video cheapies. I'm 50-50 to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Todd.
I'm the same way because I grew up in that era, and you'd rent that home for something good, and you'd be like, "What the hell is this?" half the time.
Yeah. That's just being real. So, but I thought Gore horror not one of the more famous ones, but of course '94, probably one of the driest periods there were for horror films. So, kind of slipped under the radar. But I did kind of remember it and thinking, oh, that's quality aside, kind of cool, and I liked it. So, moving on to one I know you're looking forward to, because you are also a big blaxploitation fan. So I guess we will, and we will have some Rudy Ray Moore next week, I'm sure, because you have to have the big bad Dolomite on our show. Not Rudy, he's dead, but on that depressing note, from the back cover, Dolomite, the baddest pimp in town, has just been released from prison, ready to take revenge on the notorious gangster Willie Green, who set him up on a phony drug charge and stole his club, The Total Experience. With the help of his friend Queen Bee and their band of kung fu fighting vixens, Dolomite takes every rat soup eating motherfucker in South Central. Acclaimed comedian Rudy Ray Moore's outrageously funny and action-packed blaxploitation classic makes its worldwide Blu-ray debut fully restored in 2K from a recently discovered 35mm negative and loaded with extras, including a new making-of documentary with Elijah Drenner and a historical commentary track from Moore's biographer Mark Murray, featuring interviews with Moore as well as co-stars Jerry Jones, Lady Reed, John Kerry, cinematographer Nick von Sternberg, and more. So, well, we're both big blaxploitation fans, but we've never talked about the Dolomite series. Todd, big fan, I take it? Did you grow up on these movies or discover them later?
I discovered them pretty early enough. I want to say 90, so I was still, pretty young. I think House Party was, all the Dolomite talk from Ricky Harris that got me, had to go seek that stuff out. So, yeah, I've been familiar with the films for quite a while. And especially with this one, that it's the part of the charm of this one is the budget or the lack of, and there's still a bit of amateurness in this one, whereas you look at something, the Coffee Browns, the Foxy Browns, or the Coffee. I said Coffee Brown.
Coffee and Foxy Brown. How dare you? The best ones of all.
I agree. White Mama, Black Mama, but they all have a shine and a polish. This is like the low down and dirty, independent ones. Compared to the studio ones, and that's what I've always enjoyed about this. When you got your army of kung fu horrors, what else do you need?
Exactly. What else? That's what's good in life, as Schwarzenegger said. This one. It is. I've heard a lot of people, kind of say it's almost like the blaxploitation flick directed by Ed Wood, because there are a lot of it is very rough around the edges. This is not Jack Hill by any means, but it is a lot of fun. And Rudy Ray Moore, who I'm kicking myself, I was actually at a convention. I can't remember which one, if it was Monster Mania or what it was. I don't know if it was actually. It was something else. But he was at something, and I didn't meet him, and I still regret it, but I was doing other stuff. And not a good actor, but he certainly had a presence. He was hilarious. I mean, my God, Google some of his album covers.
Yeah.
Like, basically porn. There's one with him covering his junk with a toy airplane, and there's a bunch of topless chicks around him. So he was probably a cool dude to party with in the 70s.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, I mean, very rough around the edges. And I should also point out Dervell Martin, Willie Green in this is also the director, and he funded it himself. As you get into it, the as always fantastic Vinegar Syndrome extras. There's what can I say about this one? There's times where the kicks miss by about a mile. There's some very poor editing and a lot of a storyline that is very it's there, but it's pretty it's a bit on the thin side. It's not as terribly well thought out, but it's all about Dolomite. The character is just so cool. He oozes cool. I think that it's amazing. I mean, you think blaxploitation, of course you think Shaft, you think pretty much everything Pam Grier did, and Jack Hill and what have you, but he's right up there. I mean, considering all these other movies, most of which are surprisingly well made, and have held up shockingly well, in comparison to a lot of bigger movies of the time. There's still a place for Dolomite. I think this is a great cult flick. Some of his lines in this were just hilarious. Ghost, if you ever see a ghost, cut that motherfucker. It's just, I don't know. It almost felt like he was cutting like a wrestling promo at times. He's not the greatest actor, but he did have presence.
So you're saying Dolomite should have been JYD's manager?
Exactly. Oh, Todd, man. If I could resurrect someone, I mean,
two people.
Fuck Jesus. It's gonna be now Rudy Ray Moore and JYD. God, now I'm depressed. That would have been awesome. Hulkamania would never happen. He would be carrying their bags.
Well,
it's
just to go with this, you could he could manage the human tornado. Kind of works out that way, doesn't it? Huh?
Yes. Until Hogan drops the N-bomb and things get ugly.
Then he's gonna have to stab a motherfucker. And then I gotta throw out there. Then he had his second career in rap. I mean, all the people that would not only sample him, but have him come in and do little bits and stuff. I mean,
influenced a lot.
Yeah.
Influenced a lot.
I can't wait.
I just got this image now. It's like your beard ain't even the same color, motherfucker. And I've got an image now of Rudy Ray Moore kicking the shit out of Hulk Hogan. But
he's the one who
it'll
takes
never
the
happen.
NWO now.
Exactly. Beats his ass, walks off with Miss Elizabeth.
Since the No Limit Soldier's after him.
Exactly. If he comes back, he's got to do something with New Day. We always get into wrestling, but it's also a theoretical matchup now with the dead band, but still. But yeah, I mean, this is one I've always loved it. I've always loved this. Of course, I Human Tornado. You gotta love it. P.D. Wheatstraw. I mean, I really enjoyed every. Yes.
That's what I'm really waiting out of these four, because we're getting all four of the 70s films. But I know if you look at the old set from Xenon, I don't remember the other four that well. I'm not sure if they're like stand up or something else, because there is. I'm actually trying to look right now. Because it goes Dolomite, Human Tornado, P.D. Wheatstraw, Disco Godfather, Rude. I can't read what that says. Then one I can tell says Live and Uncut. So I think the other ones might be stand up that were in that old set.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I don't have even Rude. I don't have as great of a memory of. I always watch the others, but.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know that. I guess they have them all, right? That's been confirmed. Of course, I know Human Tornadoes next month.
No, well, in the press release or in the statement they put, they said they talked about the 470s films, that they had them all.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I don't know.
I figured they did.
But see, I don't know if that means the other ones were just like, Rude is. Yeah, I think the other four are just live performances.
Okay. Yeah, that'll probably be on there as an extra or something. But
there's four of them. They should have started on this one. I don't care. Honestly, I want the films.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad that these are on Blu-ray. And if you haven't seen it, if you are a blaxploitation fan, I would highly recommend it. I hate to say it's essential, because I mean, certainly technically it's not the best made, but it's essential to me for what that's worth.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if you're a fan of this one, because I always do it as a double feature. Black Samson with Rockne Tarkington. I don't know if you're a fan of that one, the pet lion.
I have not seen that one in years.
I think one of the cooler blaxploitation flicks that never really gets its due. And it's interesting because I was always a fan of it, and I became really good friends with Rockne Tarkington's granddaughter. So he was somebody I probably could have met at some point. Again, never did, and sadly I found out he died last year. But yeah, no, that was one I always loved to see somebody put it out on Blu-ray.
Well, it's with Warner Brothers, so.
Yes, so yeah, but yeah, no, I mean just back to Dolomite, rough around the edges, but it doesn't even really matter. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and I will throw it out there. I don't quite know why we had to see the mayor's pasty white ass in this movie, but you do see it. Unfortunately, I think they cover up the front, although there might have been a little bit of ball cleavage going on there during his fight scene. But it is what it is. A lot of good-looking girls in this, a lot of fun, and again, if you're not a fan of it, because I know plenty of people, if it's blaxploitation to them is Fred Williamson and Pam Grier. If you haven't seen Dolomite, check it out. It's great. Rating it now. Again, blaxploitation scale, since you're fans. I'll go first on this one. It's not the best of the best by any means, but I love it. It's 4 out of 5 for me. If you like, again, blaxploitation movies, because tonight is the night where I have to reinforce that. I'm not comparing it to certain things.
I agree with that. I mean, Coffee for me is always a 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like almost in like a third. I mean, because you have just, the top tier black exploitation, but this is, it's that indie level stuff. I mean, we have a soft spot for that. And for me, it was like old school LA, too. I like seeing all that shit, too. So I can't wait for the next one. But
Absolutely. So, moving on to our next review, which, I guess we can play the intro now because we're in Flesh Wound After Dark. I do want to throw this out there. We're a little bit strapped for time, so I'm not going to really get, because it's a short, so it's not really a review. Knob Goblins. I'll post the link to the short on our page. A pretty cool short, less than 5 minutes. You can't really review that. It's about exactly what you think it is, and I'll do a formal review on that next week. But I know Todd's got Hellraiser Radio tonight, so we want to finish in time. So we'll do that one next week.
Okay, then I'll get a chance to watch too. We can both chime in because I did not get a chance.
Sure.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I really could add some clips on top of this, didn't I? Well, we're here. We're after dark. We're after dark now. So now anything goes. We'll say whatever we want. Definitely not going to be PG. I thought I know how bad it is tonight.
We've already talked about the female anatomy, the male anatomy, dead, inappropriate dead celebrity jokes. So we're really going to offend you now. So there, I don't know. Now, I mean, hell, I set the bar pretty high. So I'm going to throw it out there because I didn't advertise it tonight. Maybe we'll do more Fear the Walking Dead next week. I think I had a good idea maybe that we weren't going to have time tonight. So I will say, just in short about it, I think a lot of the critics are starting to get shut up on that one because I think it's pretty damn good.
I agree. I think it's turning itself around this season, and we're finally. Well, not that the first season was horrible. It was just kind of, I didn't really like it, but it's definitely going in the right direction. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot to say now. I mean, we're still in that setting everything up now, apparently headed to Mexico.
It's all intriguing, though. Great characters.
Yeah,
not like
it is.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, we'll definitely get by next week. I'm hoping we have, because it seems like next week the hell looks like it's going to break loose. So hopefully we have a lot more to say next week. Anyway, I don't think we would have too much longer on it tonight. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it occurred to me that we have a documentary that's very in-depth.
Yes.
So, but first, before we get to the doc, since we're on might as well do the other Vinegar Syndrome title, which we will have more. We'll have that one set they put out. We'll be doing next week. That's a lot to cover, especially the doc later. But so Trashy Lady, some more Ginger Lynn and high def. Trashy Lady is a 1985 film from director Steve Scott. From the back cover, gangster Dutch, played by Harry Reams, has just been left by his regular dame Jessie, played by Cara Lott. With the third annual gathering of the Brotherhood merely weeks away, Dutch is desperately in need of a new girl. Upon being introduced to the beautiful Catherine, a cigarette girl working at the hottest speakeasy in town, the Paradise Club, Dutch is immediately smitten, but soon discovers to his dismay that Catherine is a good girl. Determined to not let her get away, Dutch enlists the help of Rita, a rough broad who also happens to be the favorite squeeze of rival gangster Louis, played by Herschel Savage, to transform Catherine into the perfect Trashy Lady. And it goes on many awards for this one. So Obviously, there was another 1985 Ginger Lynn film that I would have liked even more, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get it. So, but don't dismay. I think this one is pretty good. Well, one cool thing about this is the acting. It's hard. I mean, unless you're really, really good, it's hard to do a period piece, and they do a fantastic job, the actors in this. Of course, Harry Reams, always been a really great actor. Tom Byron as the newspaper boy, I thought that was a really funny role. And Ginger, oh my God, she was so funny in this. The scene where she was practicing her F-bombs in the mirror, I thought was just so funny. Amber Lynn, she was fantastic. So obviously there's different aspects to review here. This one is definitely very, very sex-heavy in comparison to some other Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays that were a little more plot. This is definitely a porno, but I think it's a good one. What do you think, Todd? I mean, did it work for you?
Are you setting me up for some dare?
Well, yeah, I was going to say
it only took me 3 days to get through the whole thing, so no.
There you go.
I agree.
The lesbian maid scene, it took me about six attempts.
Yeah, it is. It's. I agree. To pull off a period piece, and even outside, I was like, damn, look at the budget. They had 2 of those old-time cars and shit. You had 2, because every time you saw one, the other one would drive by. But even still, I mean, shit, can you imagine that today? They'd be like CGI porn cars.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this is that tail end where, you know, they didn't put as much into them after this. I mean, 85, like I said, we talked about before, that's kind of that cutoff year. And this one, though, definitely, like I said, this one is a porno for sure.
Yeah.
While some other ones, you know, what was it, Blue Ice and Corruption and some, they really weren't a porno first. This one is a porno first.
It is. So it's weird because it's not like, oh, yeah, I got to review this, honey. Don't worry. But it's a very good one. It's such a different era now. I mean, this is, well, still the home video era by the time this is coming out. It's pre, you pull your phone out and there you got all the porn in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and I will throw it out there, the women look fantastic in this. I don't know if you had any complaints, but I'm a big Ginger Lynn fan, and I've always felt that she was not my favorite porn star, but I do think she was one that really could act. I think if she had gone legit a little bit earlier, she's somebody that I think could have even had a bigger career because she just had a certain quality about her, and she looks great here. Care a lot. I also want to throw that out there. She's one, not working anymore, but she kind of made, she was the Jessie, Harry Reams' girlfriend at the beginning. You may not recognize her in this movie, but she did a lot of MILF mature themed porn later on in the late 90s into the mid 2000s. She kind of had a comeback, and so she was really cool. Porn's something kind of like wrestling. I don't think you ever like totally retire. Once you've done it, like you're going to come back and do something. You know, even if you're not taking bumps, you can you'll find something. But yeah, I mean, as far as some of the sex scenes go, I mean, I will say the and of course we're dudes, so it's going to be the best scene. But the lesbian maid scene was pretty hot. pretty funny, too, because I was coming off of her practicing cursing in the mirror. Ginger Lynn and Bunny Blue, I should say, semi-famous porn star. If you were a fan of vintage porn, I'm sure you know that name.
Yeah.
And once again, now Herschel Savage doesn't come into it until later, and I'm going to kind of get into the extra features a little bit on this one because they were really, really good. The extras are fantastic, but I will say you have to listen to the commentary track because Herschel Savage is hilarious. A lot of really cool comments. He shit talks a little bit, quite frankly, which always makes for a good commentary track. He's not particularly fond of Amber Lynn, I guess. According to him, Amber Lynn pretty angry and bitter now, I guess. I don't know if she's a porn hater necessarily. I don't know if that's what he's getting at, but I know you'll be happy to know that he even name drops Robert Black and his connection with Tom Byron.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that commentary in now.
Yes, of course, XPW's Rob Black. So it's a really cool commentary track, well worth listening to, and but closing up on the film, I really liked it. It does end a little bit abruptly. It kind of felt like there was like another scene or so there that they could have. I mean, it's not, in terms of the porn content, not the hottest porn you've ever seen. Extremely well acted. It looks great. But all the women look great. So there was nothing unappealing. A lot of people make fun of Carlos Tobalina's films, sometimes not always the most appealing content, although I'm a fan of his. But this is a top-of-the-line porn flick. I can see that it probably got a ton of nominations back in the day. And, fantastic presentation. It looks, again, amazing. It looks like somebody just shot this. And, Todd, anything else to say about this? Because I will briefly touch upon the extra bonus movie.
Yes. No, I mean, it's great. It is a great, little adult film from a bygone era. And if you like vintage erotica, I say, grab this disc.
Yeah, I give this the movie, and we'll get into the extras. But the movie's a 4 out of 5. Extras are 5 out of 5. Although I'll touch upon the feature-length bonus movie here in a second. What say you on the rating, Todd?
I'm with you on that. I actually have 4 down and 5 overall package. So, again, I multitasked during the bonus feature. Not what you perverts think I was doing. So let's get it.
He was looking at old Extreme Associates stuff that he has. Todd's a little more extreme. If there's not like a baseball bat being shoved up someone's cooch, it's just, it's boring.
Well, gotta love cocktails.
Hey, you want it. You missed the XPW days. You just wanted to see Nicole Bass slapping the shit out of John Kronos. So that's a horror movie.
I have never seen that, actually. I know about it. I think I might even have a copy, but I've never watched it.
Well, I know you have the Christy Mist one, but
the best of Christy Mist, best of Lizzie Borden, you name it, I got it.
I will have to. Some of that's hard. It's hard to get their stuff now. Actually, it's almost impossible to get a lot of it.
You got to get Whack Attack 5. That one's got Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon. I can't remember who else. Maybe it's Bubba Ray and Big Dick and Tommy. It's Bubba Ray, Tommy Dreamer, and Big Dick. Whack Attack 5. I'm sure WWE's thrilled to know that. or maybe they don't.
Oh, there you go. There goes that Hall of Fame nomination for the Dudleys.
Okay,
they listened, they found out, Todd, and you've killed it.
I just want to say they're not in action. I don't want anyone to think you're going to see Bubba Ray,
We'll get the Bubba Ray, the Bubba Velvet sex tape at some point. He's just chopping that ass.
He's like, you know who I am. Okay.
That would be an
total sidetrack. Did you get the Dudleyville doc yet?
I did not. I do need to get it. Wrestling discs now are like the one thing I'm cutting back on a little bit, unless it's an indie company.
They actually say TNA twice on that.
Oh, holy shit. Well, now I have to check it out for sure.
Well, he's gone for how long are they gone? They mentioned it. They actually mentioned his singles run. They never say Bully Ray, but they said, I was like,
good for them. Who cares? I mean, TNA's not, knocking on the front door ready to knock them down right now. So, hey, why not? It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
But the extra feature, not a lot to say about it. It is a feature-length film as an extra, which is always very well welcomed.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was going to be on there.
Yeah. No, I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it's 1971, the first film from the director, Steve Scott, who is credited, I believe, as J.S. Scott. The director, it's interesting looking at his, and of course you find this out in the commentary track, but I was going through his IMDb, and I saw A Few Good Men, and I was like, whoa. But then I realized that ain't the Tom Cruise one. He did dabble in gay porn. Yeah, that was one on there. Yet it's still not as gay as Top Gun. So, Wow. But anyways, I thought that was funny. I saw that on there. I was like, oh shit, did he have? I thought I wasn't clicking on director. I was like, shit, was he like some sort of like production guy on that or something? That's weird. But no, that's not the one. So this one basically, not much of a storyline to speak of. It's three women who are driving to Cheyenne, Wyoming, I believe, and have a flashback to the Old West where they get porked by some random cowboy and an Indian. That's it. I mean, there really isn't coming west. There really isn't much of a story per se, but it is a cool little extra feature. I can kind of see maybe this one wouldn't be sold separate, but some lesser known but very recognizable names from many Something Weird titles as well as Vinegar Syndrome. Marie Arnold, who was also in Flesh Gordon, The Country Hooker, Wham Bam, Thank You Spaceman, and even Christopher Lee's film Meat Cleaver Massacre, which he was kind of tricked into narrating. Sandy Carey, who's in this, she was in Deep Jaws, Drive-In Massacre, also Wham Bam, Thank You Spaceman, Sassy Sue, and Vinegar Syndrome's Cutthroat. And finally, Starlin Simone, who was in one I've never seen, but I'm going to have to now, Sleazy Rider, Country Cousins, which is a Something Weird fave of mine, and Snow Bunnies. So this one had some unintentional comedy. It's very slow-moving, but the girls look good. I did think it was kind of racist that the white man gets two chicks and the Indian only gets one. The very Latin-looking Indian only gets one chick. So there is some 70s porn-era racism during this one. I got to ask you this because we will move on to the next one, try and get you out here on time. But did you notice the I don't know if it was like poison ivy or what, but the girl's fucked up arm looked like it had like a rash on it?
I did notice that.
Yeah, I think they were like they were screwing in like some like marsh. I was gonna say like I want the blooper where they're like burning the tick off the dude's balls or something because it just looked
right.
It just looked a little shady. But, not a whole lot to say about this except, girls look good, no real story, but that's okay. It was a funny extra feature. But moving on to our main event of the evening, I know we were all anticipating this one for several years because I'm a big Something Weird fan, and that's Sexploitation from director Frank Henenlotter. And just getting right into it, because this is a documentary.
Over 2 hours.
That, huh?
It's over 2 hours too. It's a long one.
Yeah, it's almost 2.5 hours, but it didn't feel like it to me. This film follows Frank Henenlotter and talking mostly to David Friedman not long before he died. And, of course, Mike Rainey, the founder of Something Weird Video, passed away sadly as well. This film really kind of goes through the dawn of sexploitation. And it follows it all the way up to really 1970 on the dot, pretty much. It's mostly that through the 60s, which we'll get into that because some people may have complaints. But this really goes into, and Something Weird released a lot of them, the nudie cuties. It goes into the Roughies era, the particularly gross and hilarious sex hygiene films, some of the anti-drug stuff. A lot. If you really want a history of sexploitation, this is pretty fantastic and really lived up to my expectations. But Todd, what did you think? So much to say about this.
I agree 100% with that, and I told you off air. My only complaint, I know there's been a few other ones, but I didn't think there was enough Russ Meyer.
That is true.
He does get his due for changing the genre, but I think he's still, in that later era, meant so much more. And I don't know if that's the fact that they're really stingy at the RM Films Institute about giving up their footage for a doc, but
that could be it, because Faster Pussycat Kill Kill is the only Russ Meyer flick on Blu-ray, and they put it out themselves, if I recall.
They did.
But they did at least mention it because the immoral Mr. T's really kind of ushered in kind of the golden age of exploitation and kind of the rise of the nudie cuties, which it's really interesting watching this because if you're not familiar with some of those, and I know Todd and I are big sexploitation guys, really looking at just how innocent those movies were. They kind of talk about, they were almost like dirty movies for like 11-year-old boys.
That's
they
I was busted when they said that because that's so exactly what they are. They put on the X-ray glasses, or they do this or that. And
yes.
I was like, wow, that is exactly what they are.
Oh, yeah, no, they really are, and I thought it was cool that they had a house on Bear Mountain. One of the best, and I was kind of glad. And of course, they go into Doris Wishman and H.G. Lewis.
I would,
people.
that era, the nudist films, those I cannot take. I think I've watched 3 or 4, but it's like after the first 3 or 4, it's like I never need to see another one of these again.
The nudist, yeah. But Todd, that's how we saw tits and ass back in the. Well, neither one of us are that old, but that's how they saw it back in the day. People had to go to the theater to whack off. We live in a great era.
This is true. I know. We didn't get any deadly weapons either. I was kind of disappointed in that. I didn't think of that till just.
Well, that's later though, because they really don't go into the 7. Chesty Morgan. I don't know. Did they show her at all? They might have briefly towards the end.
They might have, but no, it is. It's true. And I know you mentioned off air that they need a part 2, and I really agree with that.
Yeah, because there are a lot from the 70s that I would love. I mean, I guess you kind of have to have a theme, though, too.
Yeah.
Which I guess would just be the history, too. There's certainly a lot in the 70s.
I think it's just I want a goddamn good Russ Meyer documentary.
Yes,
Maybe that's
absolutely,
my problem.
yeah.
If that needs to happen.
Yeah, and I love this too because I mean, of course, we know what they are, but you know, a lot of people. There's a lot of you that have heard terms like roughy or you know, white coaters and all these different things, and maybe never even really knew what that was. And this is a good history lesson. It really is. But even, you know, for sleaze freaks like Todd and I, you know, still fun seeing all these clips. Because you're right, there are some. The nudist camp flicks, and they talk about this. You saw one, you saw them all. They were very similar, but God, there were just so many. And I was almost going through the whole thing like, okay, do I have this in my Something Weird collection yet? Because that's a big catalog, and I have a lot of them, maybe 75, 80% of them. But
yeah.
that 20% is still a lot.
I had to pause a few times, like, do I have that?
Yes. Yeah, I marked out for. Also, I'm a big fan of the Finleys. Of course, they mentioned them.
Yeah.
The Flesh trilogy. Of course, the Olga series, which were big, kind of one of the first big franchises, Ruffy franchises out there. Ruffies, by the way, we won't give you the history lesson, but that's kind of when really violence was involved with the sex for the first time. You know, you had some gore in some cases. And I also really like the fact that they go over certain things, you know, that even I didn't know, you know, about some of the codes back in the days. Of course, the Hays Code, which was a big thing. Some of the ridiculous, you know, like in Memphis, they would censor like black people. It's like, well, you can't have like you can't show the black girl's tits or well, actually, you know, you can't show the white girl's tits or whatever they thought was offensive at the time. So it's one film fan in general. It's not. This is not just something. I don't want people to get the idea that this is just a documentary to whack off to, although there is a very impressive amount of nudity in this film.
There
a lot.
And
some black and white, some glorious color.
And don't forget, you get 3.5 hour of loops included as a bonus.
Yes, that was, oh God. I waited so long to see this. I mean, this was completed, in like 2011? Because Friedman's been dead at least, 3 years at least, 4 years?
Yeah, I think Frank Hillenlauder's been editing that long. There's a lot of shit that edited all that.
Yes, and it did not disappoint. Like I said, and it's not a complaint. Now, there's some people, because there's different fans. For some people, their experiences with sexploitation may have not started till the 70s or even 80s. You know, some people, Emmanuel or, you know, old school Corman kiddie flicks for some of us. You know, they may not really have a concept of some of these films.
Which is funny because when you said that didn't even occur to me. To me, it was all up to and including Russ Meyer. But that would make sense. I mean, for you know, I mean, even though I grew up with Emmanuel and all that stuff, that wasn't the first thing that popped into mind because I've always looked at Russ Meyer as the one who changed, you know, the way sexploitation was done, and he, you know, with Lorena, Mudhoney, and all that stuff all the way up to, you know, Up and Super Vixens. I mean, and that's in an era he was still doing it when there was hardcore easily available. I mean,
yeah, that's sort of where, I mean, and that's where this doc sort of ends because Friedman and Henenlotter really considered the rise of hardcore porn to be sort of like the end of it. I don't, you know, end of the golden era. I don't. It certainly was for them, I'm sure. But I I mean, I don't totally agree or disagree. It's such an interesting debate with this one. What really took your cherry in terms of sexploitation? Like, what was like your first? I don't want to say dirty movie, but company or series of films.
The first thing I ever remember that would fall in this genre, I think, although it's kind of a bit of a genre bender, would be Malibu Express.
Ah, okay, that's interesting.
So that's some Andy Sedaris.
Andy Sedaris, yes. Which you can get some of his action flicks, 12 of them on a cheap set now. Yeah. For me, it's really hard to remember like some of the first ones. It wasn't Nudie Cuties. I just turned 30. I'm not that old. I think for me, like I really remember a lot of Euro stuff in particular, because I was a Franco fan very early on. Lena Romay, to this day, I'm in love with her. Even late, latter day Lena Romay, I was still buying the Sub Rosa stuff. I love Lena Romay, so that was probably some of my earliest memories. And I know we both have an affinity for some of the Corman stuff. Maria Ford, of course, the name not out there a lot, but that's getting a little bit later. But yeah, great history lesson, fantastic clips for some movies you may not want to actually pick up and watch the whole movie, which sometimes makes these docs a lot of fun. And I did mark out. I don't own it, which is probably what I'm going to be buying here soon, because I didn't realize I didn't own it. One of the last films they showed was Bat Pussy, getting into the hardcore era. Bat Pussy is, oh God, if you haven't seen it, don't buy it to try and get off to it, because it's a horrible porn movie, but it's considered the first true porn parody. And all I can say is look up the trailer. The trailer I don't think is particularly dirty or anything. It is horrible and so funny. You have to check that one out. So it's one of their DVD-R titles. I think you can still get it on their website. So maybe you want to beat me to it. But can't go over every film here, obviously. Just a great doc, just for a fan of film in general, because they go back to World War II and, some of the soldiers having to view the sex hygiene films, which is actually a story my grandfather, when he was alive, had told me about some of that. So that was kind of funny to kind of get an idea of what they had to deal with at that time. And that part of it was pretty gross. There are some brief images of infected genitals, so just a warning. But well, I know you have to go, so we'll go ahead and rate this one. This one's a 5 for me, honestly. Only thing people might bitch about is, like I said, there is multiple eras that they didn't cover, but sequel.
I agree.
I hope they make it.
I do too, and like I said, I just think of Russ as a bigger key towards the end of that golden era. So that's the only reason I was. And honestly, it was just noticeable to me. I still give it a 5 also. So I mean, it didn't detour from my enjoyment. I was just kind of hoping we would have a little bit more of him, because
But and again, up until the dawn of it to, kind of the everything up until the 60s, they hit it all. The burlesque flicks, Tempest Storm, Blaze Star, all that. Everything. Some of the I guess we would call actually kind of a genre then. The I don't know what, I can't even think of the name, if there is a name for it, but the Ape and Babe flicks.
Oh,
several of them there from that, and they even kind of go into some lesbian flicks. There's some Brick Dollhouse, Chain Girls. Some of those were particularly funny. Some of the clips. It gives you everything. It's great. Check this one out. I think it's a must see. The only one tonight I knew exactly our ratings were going to be the same. So Todd, so you don't have to haul ass. I guess we'll end here. Not sure what we're doing next week yet. I know we'll have, I think, a more horror-themed edition, but we will have the rest of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff, and we'll see. I can't remember what comes out this week. I know the new Jim Wynorski flick's out. Maybe we'll do that.
Oh yeah, those Kansas. Got to do that.
Yes.
It's new Wynorski. All right. We will be back next week with some new stuff. I got a couple suggestions I'll hit you up with later.
Sweet.
Tune into Hellraiser Radio on speaker, and just about 13 minutes spinning. At the top of the hour, makes a great double feature, Flesh and Radio, and then some Hellraiser Radio. And I think that's it for tonight. Dan, you got anything else?
Nothing else. I'm going to go buy bat pussy now, so we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.